Thanks, Justin, for meeting with me virtually today.
You're welcome.
So I'll just start off by introducing myself. So my name is Jordan, and I'm a social worker at the Thorp Recovery Center. I provide support to those we serve by facilitating opportunities and resources that will aid them on their recovery journey. The Thorp Recovery Center is an accredited nonprofit treatment center for those with substance use disorders. And on today's segment with Coffee with our community connections during COVID, we have Justin. Justin works as the director of Hope House, which is a second stage sober house. He brings valuable experience as a certified interventionist, life coach, sober coach, and a certified personal trainer, and also has 6.5 years of sobriety. Using the NA and AA 12 steps as a guide, he works with each client step by step, as well as daily affirmations and gratitude lists, which are a fundamental part of the regular routine that contribute to maintaining long-term sobriety. Justin offers 24/7 support, not because he has to, but because he cares and identifies with the struggles of early sobriety. Justin has worked with multiple sponsees prior whom have maintained their sobriety and have made it past 1 year. He provides peer support on his time off and is very invested in recovery and helping men get their lives back. He also ensures that the house rules are followed and that everyone is attending regular AA and NA meetings. There we go. Once again, thank you, Justin.
You're welcome.
We'll just hop right into it. So it kind of, the intro there gives us a brief description kind of what you do and what Hope House is. So I guess, how long has Hope been in service, and are you guys a nonprofit organization?
So Hope in Strathcona has been serving the community since 2014. And it initially started as an outreach program working with men and women in recovery. So in 2019, we opened a sober living residence for men, and we have a home with a 5-man capacity.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And how has your guys' programming changed due to COVID?
Just less in-person meetings. There is some in-person meetings, but other than that, like, it just comes down to just being careful and respectful, following the guidelines when it comes to safety precautions, sanitizing, all that stuff. But there's ways to not completely isolate yourself because of COVID, and a lot of people are not looking for them. They're just shutting the door and saying, I guess we have to stay home. Right. It's not healthy for a recovering addict when they're fresh in recovery to isolate, you know. So we figure it out. And on top of it, I've got a good group of guys in the house, so even if they can't go to a meeting, I picked, you know, a certain under a certain age category so that all the guys could like be bros. Right. Yeah, exactly. So, like, not only like housemates, but also develop like those important connections that is so significant for people when they're, especially the early stages of recovery. Yeah, like when I finally got myself sober and actually followed it, it's because I called it my squad. Right. Where I had like, you know, I had like 5 friends that we were like close the whole way through, and we all stayed sober. That's awesome. Yeah. Are you still in contact with those fellows today? Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's so good to hear. I love that. Just goes to show how important it is to have like those healthy supports with you, right? Especially friends that can call you out on things that normally people would sugarcoat. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They give you that tough love kind of feel there. Yes. Yes. I love it. Okay. So along with providing like a safe area for individuals to live and to kind of progress through their early stages of recovery, what services do you guys all offer, and are there fees for these services? Yes. So for the housing, it's $700 a month, and that's not including food. So we do offer the residential supportive housing for men. I offer, and Doug offers, one-on-one peer support. The 12-step programming, so I work one-on-one with each individual on their steps as they're finishing and completing each step. We go over each step, and that's It's a thorough process. So
Right.
that's a lot, but I mean, that's what clears the skeletons out when people got stuff that's holding them back.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So we have access to county resources through referral to other resources, like example, medical, psychological, mental health, support for job search through the way that I work in my life is I network like crazy. So I meet
Right.
people that know people that know people. So like every time I get a new number, I'm like, oh, this person owns a business, or this
Right.
person owns a business. So like if the guys in the house are looking for a job, I can make phone calls and talk to people and see
Right.
what I can do. Then that's my favorite way to work. Like
Right.
just the more people you know, the better it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to have that in with people too, right? Kind of get
Yes.
to pull different ideas from so many different avenues too.
Oh yeah, it opens it up for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So we support like for family reunification. So like for instance, we just had a guy here. He was trying to get 50-50 custody of his daughter. And through being here, he was here for 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, he stayed sober. They had him doing hair follicles, everything. And by the end of it, he had gotten the 50-50 and like had moved
Wow.
into his own place and like just it was actually somebody that my friend referred to me from
Okay.
Vancouver. He was like, oh, Justin's running Hope House, like you should go there because I know he'll call you out on all your stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was like something, there's been a couple incidents where like guys are trying because like when you're out there and you're using, you're a different person.
Right.
When you get sober, people are good people. For the most part, people deserve a second chance to have their kids in their lives and stuff. If they're willing to do what they're supposed to do, they deserve that. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely something we fight for. And like life coaching too. Life coaching is available. Like that's like sponsorship.
Right.
When it comes down to it, is just people kind of like ask what my opinion is, and I can use my experience to help guide them to make the right decisions. Because I can tell you I made all the wrong decisions because I tried to do it my own way.
Right.
So now I just know, like, I listened to someone and I just held on to that information and I'm going to use it to help other people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, I like how you mentioned like family reunification, like that piece of it too, because I find, especially with some clients here, that can be one of like the main stressors, right? Because there's so many different, like the court proceedings, like all the legality stuff there can be super overwhelming, especially for someone who's trying to focus on themselves, like in sobriety, like early sobriety. Yeah, exactly. So it's nice. It's nice to have that extra support that's like, you know what, like it's going to be an uphill battle, but you're not alone in this, and we're going to try and support you as much as we can.
Because I like, that's like the hardest thing to go through when you're trying to get your marbles back, is like dealing with lawyers and courts and stuff like that. Like that would be really hard. And I commend anybody that's made it through that and stayed sober, because that's a big deal. Like you gotta want it.
For sure. No kidding. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's nice for people who go into Hope House knowing that this is an option for them and that they aren't going to have to struggle through this alone, and that they do have someone that's got their back even on those bad days when things don't go right. They have like you or Doug or one of the other housemates there to lean on for support.
Yeah, that's the key, is support, big time. Like honestly, support is like the hugest thing about sobriety, because like some days you can't do it yourself, so you need a shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you have that shoulder, you make it through the day. So
got to take it day by day. And the opposite of addiction is connection too, and that's one of the, I think, the most significant quotes when working in the area of addictions to remember and to emphasize too, right?
I agree.
Yeah. So I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but I just kind of want to go back and talk about Hope's relationship with the Thorp Recovery Center and how we kind of all started working together.
Okay. So our relationship with, well, Thorp's relationship with us, and ours with Thorp's is, we've been working together. We reached out and we had some clients come from Thorp to here, and they worked out very well. And personally, like, it would just be nice to just like be like, you know, like work with Thorp exclusively, because, you know, then the guys that are coming here know the guys that are already here, or they can go in, they can go into the meetings, the Zoom meetings, and they can actually like meet the people, and then I can have like a house discussion on who would be suitable. So like in the end, everybody is like friends, you know. So like, because the functionality in the house is what I really want. And then like once a house is set up and everything's good and everyone's in long term, then we could possibly be thinking about opening another house.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the need calls for it, right? Especially right now during COVID too, especially.
I heard a lot.
Sorry, go ahead.
Everyone's looking for a woman second stage. So that's a big want. So I feel like in the future that would be something I'd look into.
Yeah, that would be wonderful too, because I know we have lots of clients here that are from like the Edmonton area and that kind of thing. And having that other alternative, and also having that established connection with you guys already too, just makes it that much easier. And also I think it makes it a bit more of a comfortable process for clients too, because like I know when we have men looking for sober living and it's in the Edmonton area, and I'm like, Justin, Hope in Strathcona. I was like, I'm going to call Justin right now and I'm going to see what they got available. Like, you're going to love him. Like, he's awesome. And then you can see like, they're like, okay, like if she's talking these guys up so much, like they must be really good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on top of it too, you know, a lot of the second stages, they got you sharing a room, and we don't do that. Through my experience in treatment centers and second stages, through my own experience, sharing a room with somebody sucks.
Yeah. It's like, true though, yeah.
People will stay longer if they can have a room where they get to like breathe without someone else in the same space.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just their own space. They can feel comfortable there. Yeah, no, that's such a good point to make too. Yeah, that even though like it's nice to have that support when you have a roommate, sometimes people just need their own space to wind down, you know, to kind of just do their thing without having someone like right next to them that's like, look and see what they're doing.
Yes. Everyone's like, you got your own rooms? I'm like, yes, we do. They're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, right. They're like, okay, yep, that's a check mark off on that box.
Yeah, a big yes.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so how can somebody access your programming?
So yeah, phone or online through the website. The website is www.hopeinstrathcona.com, and then on the website it'll have my number or Doug's number as well. And I'm not like, you know, some people, they have a cell phone and they don't answer it very often, and you will get a hold of me that day if you phone me about recovery or like treatment or anything like that. Like, I'm very on point with that. Even when I'm not working, I'll definitely answer my phone.
Yeah, I've noticed that about you too. I'm like, if I need to get a hold of anyone like right now, I know I can count on you to be that person. So going forward, the link you said for the website, we will also be able to link that in this video. Yeah, so we'll have all your guys' information and that kind of thing. So if you just wanted, well, it's www.hopeinstrathcona.com.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I can send you that. I can also, there's a Facebook page. There's a Facebook page, and it's got like all like the donation things and stuff. Like, we did a fundraiser. I'm trying to get some money together to get weights for the guys.
Right.
because like physical exercise for me is like a big piece of why I'm still sober.
Right.
And I feel like I want to like apply everything that worked for me, and like I can't take the guys to the gym, and I can't take them to my home gym because I'm not allowed to have outside visitors in my house.
Right. Yeah.
So I've been working on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's like exercise or just physical activity. It doesn't even need to be like going to the gym or lifting weights, even just like going for a walk. Yeah, exactly. Like it's so important because I think one thing that people either just don't have the information about or don't recognize is that when like you're in addiction and those feel good chemicals in your brain, right? Like when you use, you're getting like such an upsurge of those feel good chemicals. So then when you do something average, like hanging out with your kids, you don't feel that as much. But when you start working out, that's when it releases like those endorphins and everything too. So you get those feel good chemicals just from being active, going outside, doing yoga, like any of that stuff.
Yeah. You never leave the gym regretting that you went.
100%. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's going to be like my motto for this weekend when I think, no, I don't need to work out. And then I'm going to remember this conversation.
Autopilot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, so kind of going back to the programming for Hope, what are the requirements to enter your guys' program?
So we need at least 30 days clean and sober, completed a residential treatment program, and paying rent. So $700 for rent. And like we've had like where we like brought guys in from like programs that were shorter, and it didn't really work that well because they didn't even have any programming to begin with.
Right.
They weren't primed before they came to second stage, so they were still in the first stage process, and they got given too much freedom. So like that's why I like your program, is because it has a good amount of time where you guys are working with the guys and they come here and they're ready to start working on their steps and stuff. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of, they just transfer right into your guys' program, which is really nice because they still have that mindset too of like staying on top of everything and crushing out their goals and whatnot.
Yeah, keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, exactly. And so I guess along with the requirements, what are your guys' program expectations? Like what are the expectations when you have a guy enter your program?
So like one of them is like maintaining their sobriety, maintaining good relationships in the house and stuff. That's kind of why I'm the way I am with choosing people, is because I believe that, like, you want to help everybody, but you also want everybody to be like, because some people don't get along with people, some people do get along with people. So like, I just really want the guys in the house to like, just to be really like all be friends and not just like living together.
Yeah, exactly.
So work through the 12-step program with me as the peer support to kind of guide each guy and help with their step work as they're going if they have any questions. Attend weekly AA or NA meetings. So I think around 2 is what we're doing right now, but I mean, if there was more open meetings, it would probably, I would up it to 3.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I think having 2 like home group kind of meetings where like you're every week is good, because then everyone there and they're all support. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Pay rent at the beginning of each month, so that's $700. Responsible for your own meals and cleanup. I do have somebody that's been here for a bit. I'm not going to say his name because I don't know confidentiality and all that jazz. But he is been doing very good, and he is the chore monitor, and he's taken on some responsibilities. He's just doing amazing. So that's there's awesome. another Thorpian holding it down.
That's so awesome. I love hearing that.
And do your own laundry. That's it.
Yeah. Right, like basically like gotta like take care of your own needs and make the space like clean and tidy for everyone else who's gonna be using it.
Yeah, like this is the thing for me too, even in my own life, is like never leave a mess. Clean up as you go.
Yeah.
Because like then you'll never have a mess. So like if you
Yeah.
eat, you're not done eating till your dishes are done. So I'll actually wash my pots and pans before I even touch the food that I'm supposed to be eating, so they're done already.
Yeah, and then you can just enjoy your meal and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I eat up, there's a 50-50 chance I'm gonna just sit.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah. TV.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna watch Netflix.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think that goes to show too, like the importance of having a routine, right?
Yeah, routine is like honestly the biggest part next to support and recovery is having that daily routine. Like for instance, like I would wake up at 5 a.m. when I first got clean, and I would have a cup of coffee. I would do a gratitude list. I would do the daily affirmations. I would do step work, and I would write a journal.
Right.
And I would do that every morning before everyone was awake. And like, I never felt so good in my life. Like it was just like the gratitude list alone, because you notice like people, when they say, oh, I hate this, I hate that, and that, I hate that. And then it's just like, it drains you. But if you start seeing like things that you're grateful for, it literally like changes your whole perspective on everything.
Yeah, totally. Because you're placing more emphasis on the positives in your life rather than the negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always good.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's always good, even during COVID times.
Right?
Especially during COVID times, I should say.
Just don't watch the news. You'll be okay.
Exactly. I don't ever watch the news, and it's probably been my saving grace.
Me too.
Okay, so along with the programming there, have you guys noticed like there being any preconceived barriers for your programming that potential clients should not be concerned about? Like some things that might make them a bit wary about like sober living or anything like that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Preconceived barriers. So like, there's not really anything that they should worry about. Like for instance, like we generally before we didn't really take people on like methadone or Suboxone.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like we could take them on as long as they're stabilized, because like if they're they have to be stable. I don't want them to be playing around with raising and lowering, and because like when they're stabilized, they can actually get their life together. It's not a problem with them stabilizing. It's just the guys in the house having to potentially being around something that could trigger them or something like that. So I gotta protect them. But I mean, normally we wouldn't, but I've been thinking lately that, if the person is willing to do what they're supposed to do and gets along in the house dynamic, that it is workable.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that totally makes sense too, because you're also taking into consideration the other guys in the house too, and what their thoughts and feelings are about the situation.
Yeah, we always have like, if I'm gonna make a big decision or like if I'm getting a new person in the house, I will talk to the guys about it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I feel like they should all have a part in it, because, if they're all like, okay, yeah, like they'll all get to meet the person first.
Right. Yeah.
That's why it's good that you have that Zoom meeting for the most part, because like that the person that wants to come here can go in that Zoom meeting, and the guys from the house will actually get to meet them.
Right.
And then I can ask them, hey, do you care if this person moves in? And they've really haven't said no, but I mean,
yeah. But I think it's just that too, just creates that safe space too, right? Like you're giving them the option to be honest and voice any concerns that they might have too.
Yeah, I just feel like if they're gonna stay here for a long time, and I feel like making them a part of the process is a good thing, because like I've been to houses where you didn't get a say.
Yeah.
And they put me in a house full of guys that were like, you know, lifelong East Hastings, 65 and up, and I didn't. They picked on me, and I ended up relapsing because I didn't feel comfortable in my house.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm applying like that feeling. I'm like, I'm not going to do that to anybody. Like
Yeah.
we're going to make sure that this house is functional and that everybody is, you know, friends, you know, and you can be friends with older people too, but I more mean like people that, you know, you can stay in contact with and like hang out with in the long run. Because like we all got old contacts, and that's what happens too, is people get bored and they don't have anyone to hang out with, and they get on their social media and they reconnect with all their ex-drug dealer friends or whatever it may be, and you know, they end up using again because they're lonely.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and when they're going back to those same people too, like historically, they're just going to kind of resort back to what they know, which makes sense, right? And I think that's why it's so important to find those healthy supports, so you don't need to kind of go back and make yourself like more prone to those risks, I guess. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah.
People, places, and things, for sure.
100%. So true. And I guess just along with that, so I know COVID kind of changes things, but I know in my work here, I've had lots of clients ask me, well, like, am I allowed to have visitors over if in sober living? Like, am I allowed to go to other people's houses? So can you kind of explain how that works for you guys at Hope?
Well, at the time being, we're not allowed to have visitors in our houses at all.
Right.
Which, you know, kind of sucks. Considering the malls are open still. But
yeah. Yeah.
But you know, I feel like it's not too far off where we'll be able to have visitors and stuff. And I mean, in the end, like, you're allowed to congregate outside in groups of 10.
Yeah.
And you know, like, if you really need human contact and stuff, and you know, like, it's not hard to go outside. No. And you know, it's cold, but I mean, it's Alberta, so like everyone should be a little used to it by now.
Yeah, exactly. Especially now that we're having almost like tropical weather here compared to like -40. This is tropical for us Canadians here.
Just about beach time.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, my last question here for you, Justin. So with talking about your guys' programming and whatnot, you kind of went into this a little bit, but do you guys have like wellness and recovery plans or something along the lines of that? And if so, what are they?
Each client should have a recovery plan coming out of treatment.
Yeah.
We can work one-on-one to devise a wellness and recovery plan where one does not exist. We will, with the community resources, to ensure that our clients have to access to medical and mental health resources.
Right.
What it comes down to is using our contacts and our knowledge through experience to kind of help guide in that process. If someone leaves here, like I'm still in contact with people that stayed here and left and got their lives back, or even people that stayed here and they weren't ready, so they ended up going back out to do some research.
Right. Yeah.
I still keep in touch with them as well, and you know, eventually when they decide they want to do it, we'll be here still.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not about like shoving it down someone's throat, like saying, oh, you need treatment. Yeah. It's about just being there and showing them that you care, and you know, tell them that you care, and take them for some food or whatever it may be. Yeah. And just tell them you care, and don't say nothing about treatment. Just tell them, you know, like, we miss you on this side. and I care, and I just wanted to tell you that.
Yeah.
Because if you tell them you need treatment, they're gonna be like, okay, bye.
Yeah, exactly. And taking that approach compared to the alternative, that's you're meeting them where they're at in that moment, right? Which is gonna be way more supportive than saying like you need to go to treatment or you need to do this or should do that, right? Like that never really helps anybody.
Does it work?
Yeah, it don't work. It really don't.
Yeah, it's all like mental warfare. It's just,
yeah, totally.
It's just about working correctly so that people don't like do the opposite of what you're saying.
Exactly.
Even if it's going to be good for them, like they're like, who do you think you are?
Right.
You know, and I'm like, well,
fair. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's like we might have like this experience and this knowledge, but if a person isn't ready or if they're not there yet, like we have to support them in those feelings too and just do what we can so that they don't feel like they're alone in the process, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we wrap things up, Justin, is there anything else that you would kind of want to share or let anybody know about Hope or the work that you guys are doing?
Like what it comes down to is we're basically like on top of having this house, like we do a lot of peer support for basically anybody that needs it. Because on the website our numbers are on there, so like I'll get phone calls like about people trying to get into treatment or like people trying to figure out different things in their sobriety or like where meetings are, or I still have a BC number from because I used to live in BC.
Right.
I still have my phone number. It's been a year that I've lived here, a year and a bit. I can't turn the freaking thing off because I still support people down there.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like if I change that number, that I might miss an important call.
yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know, like there's not too much else to say. We've covered a lot.
Yeah, I think we've kind of got into a little bit of everything, which I love, and that's what the purpose of this is for too. So, but yeah, thank you again, Justin, for since this is our second time doing this interview, because technology can be super fun sometimes, but I really appreciate you taking the time to do this again, because it's always a pleasure getting to speak with you and get to connect on these levels. So thank you for being on this segment of Coffee with our community connections during COVID.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks.